So, in the spirit of the Firecracker 100 being at Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania, one of my home tracks here in PA, I'm going to be participating in the Firecracker 100, but the only problem is the max you can go is 80 laps. So we're still going to do the 80 lap. I just did a practice run with a 40 lapper, and it went very well. But that was on hard. We are doing this one on expert. So expert is obviously a little bit harder than hard, because I mean, I lapped up to a double lapped up to 8s, I believe. So I don't want to be doing that too much. I do want a little bit of a battle, but with being at Lernerville, this is one of my favorite tracks ever. This is going to be a bit of a longer video, so just strap in and let's get into some hot laps right here. I do run the third person view because, you know, I like to run the third person view. I feel like sometimes I feel like I run better running the third person, but I do have a custom setup on as well. And if you guys want the custom setup for Lernerville, I will go ahead and do a separate video for you guys just for that. But 13005, and this setup here is more top heavy setup. So it's 13203. We're just gonna go ahead and get out of hot laps there. We got the goal, so 13100 was our goal time. Now we need a 12790 to get the pole. So as long as we have a clean 2 laps, we'll be good to go. Got to rip that top line as good as possible. A little bit slow on exit there. This lap is not going to do it. No, 13005 for the first lap. I will say that this setup is a little bit more tricky in qualifying, but a 12861, I will start second in heat number 1. You are a little bit loose in qualifying. You obviously could go to custom qualify as well, but yeah. So quickly, I'll go ahead and show you guys the setup real quick. If you want this, go ahead and pause it. I will make another video just for this setup as well. Make sure we save it just in case it decides to break. But here we go. Top 5 straight to the feature. Top 2 go to the dash. Bobby Pierce got the pole. And here we go. We are green for 10 laps of heat race action at Lernerville Speedway. So the first night of the Firecracker, last night, Thursday night, got rained out. We're going to try and throw this in here. A little bit of contact there with Larson. Try to stick it on the bottom. A little bit of contact up into the wall. That's all right. Just got to catch Bobby Pierce now, who must have been really flying in qualifying. Get that pole position. Little slow on exit there. Got to get around. We will be put into the dash, and we would start 5th at the current moment. Pierce doesn't seem to be the quickest as I get into the wall a little bit there on the top. So if I can get my car set perfectly for a couple of laps, we'll be good to go. Now we're gaining, have a little teensy tiny run. We're not running a direct top now. I don't want to let out too much. Pierce just has that exit speed that I do not. Right there, we're running a 500 gear in this beautiful blue, yellow, and black super late model. See if we can maybe get Bobby Pierce here. And we got him, but he gets the run down the back stretch. And Bobby Pierce is gonna take the heat race win. I will finish second. We almost had the fast Bobby Pierce there. We were close right there. Brent Larson third, Cody Overton fourth, and Colton Flinner comes home fifth. That is everybody transferring straight to the A main from heat number 1. But now we got the dash starting 5th. And there we are, that beautiful sportarizona.com sponsor right there. And here we go. Green for 10 laps in the dash at Lernerville. Got to run really good here. We got a lot of fast cars in this field right now. Currently up to third, right behind Ryan Gustin. Gustin chooses the bottom. Bobby Pierce up on the top side of the racetrack. Those two are battling for first. I'm trying to get my legs here to catch up to Ryan Gustin. I got Tyler Erb Jr. on the bottom side. Little battle there. We're gonna slam the door on Ryan Gustin right on the bottom side of the track. Get a little bit into that slick stuff right there, so we can try and catch Bobby Pierce as he's running the top and I'm on the bottom. A little bit of a bobble there. Bobby Pierce super fast on the top side of the racetrack. Little bit of a run there for me until I got into the wall right at the flag stand. We're coming down to 4 laps to go here in tonight's qualified dash at Lernerville. And Bobby Pierce is just super fast on the top side of this racetrack. I got a little bit into the marbles there up against the front straightaway wall. And I think if I want to make a move, I can get a good run off of the bottom with 2 to go. Bobby Pierce still ripping the high side of Lernerville. Really good turn 3 and 4 for myself. Lining up a little bit too far, and Bobby Pierce coming down the back straightaway. I have no chance at catching him there. But here we go. We will start second in tonight's feature here at Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, the A main is up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here for the Firecracker 80 because we can only run 80 laps. But here we go. Beautiful 4-wide salute. Here we go. The most powerful late models on the planet here for 80 laps at Lernerville Speedway. And we are green flag racing, baby. Bobby Pierce out to the early lead. Gonna rip the high side of the track here. This is gonna be a big, big race here. Gaining a little bit there on Pierce as he's on the bottom. I'm on the top side, and I'm gonna take over the first place position. Within the first 2 laps, I get myself from second up to first around Bobby Pierce. who is trying to run the bottom side of the racetrack now. And this is where this custom setup really comes into play here, as I get a little bit loose there up into the wall. But this custom setup is set up for the top side in the feature race. Like I said, it's not 100% the best for qualifying. I'm also only playing on a controller. I do not have a steering wheel and pedals. When you do have the wheel and pedals, it actually does help quite a bit more than when you are on a controller. A little bit high there, bumped the wall yet again. But now we're just gotta get our real groove here. So we have a decent lead on Bobby Pierce here. He's almost a second down from us. 80 laps is a long race. I was really hoping that I could get that 100 lapper in to make this, you know, as realistic as I possibly could. But sadly could not do that. I think the next video I might do is the Huset High Bank Nationals, possibly, or I will do the Knoxville Nationals, or Knoxville 360 Nationals. I thought about Knoxville 360 Nationals for the sprint car side. I am thinking about putting a little bit more time into playing this game and getting videos pumped out for this. I know it is, at this point, this game is what, 2 years old now, just about 2 years old, but now we got lap traffic here, and luckily I have a pretty sizable lead here, so I don't really have to worry about Bobby Pierce if something goes a little wrong. But attacking the bottom side of the racetrack just to get around the lap cars. We're going to stick to the bottom here just for a moment to get up to the top 3 and 4. Lanigan running 21st at the current moment. We're going to be able to get around him and another car. And that's something you also got to watch, is the lap cars, as I attack the complete bottom side of this racetrack here. Try to get as good of a run as I can. Not make too much contact with Ferguson there. Kind of just lets me go by. Oh, really loose there. I was kind of in the grass for that one. There we go. 63 laps to go. So we are 17 down. I think this is the longest race I've ever ran. From Tony Stewart to World of Outlaws 2022, was it? And now here in World of Outlaws 24. They could definitely make this game a little bit better. So I'm trying to battle off Colton Flinner there. Get around that lap car. And surely. I do think that they could make this just a little bit better. Make it a little bit more realistic to iRacing. It is pretty much the same company, I believe, that made iRacing. I would like a little bit more detail. The track to change a little bit more during the race and everything, compared to just in between, you know, the heat races and all the mains, you know, between qualifying and all that. I think it'd be a lot cooler if we did have a little bit more of track change during the race. Because let me tell you what, I've been to Lernerville multiple times for the Firecracker, and that track gets black. Like where you see right there in the bottom and middle side of the racetrack. This is what the entire racetrack looks like. And if you've never been to Lernerville, this banking is completely exactly how the track is in real life. It is very high banked, and I've walked down it after the Firecracker, and it is very, very fun to try and walk down this very high banking on a slick racetrack in tennis shoes or boots that don't have the greatest traction on them. So yes, but taking over another lap car there. Now we're getting behind the back of the pack once again. Simpson running 24th. I'm curious to see how many times I can lap the field. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to end up lapping up to second place, but I'm currently lapped up to 8th right now. Well, 9th until I can get past old Dusty Larson here. And Larson and Moser make a little bit of a contact there. Larson kind of jams the brakes a little bit. I get into the back of him. Now here we go. Got a bit of a run on the bottom to get around these lap cars. You're going to run the bottom. You got to know when to let off the throttle, tap the brake a little bit to get that car sideways, and also when to set the car. But into the back of Lanigan there. Trying to make myself a little bit of room as I'm able to get past Lanigan. Also, Brandon Overton sitting in 18th at the current moment in time. Try to go around the top side of the track now to get past Bronson. Switch up to the bottom. Past Bronson there, back up to the high side of the racetrack. Scooting this super late model right on the top side here as we are coming down to 38 laps down, almost to the halfway point of the race with 42 to go. The crazy thing about you know, the actual Firecracker 100 is there's no open reds. There is 0 open reds. These cars can actually go 100 laps on 1 tank of fuel, and that's even with, you know, a couple cautions and, you know, what have you. So that is very, very cool that these cars do have a big enough tank and they don't use as much fuel as, per se, a sprint car. If you're doing a 50 lap sprint car race, you're gonna see one open red with 0 cautions, but then again, sprint car tank is a lot smaller than a super late model tank. And there we are against another lap car coming up to Chris Madden, and there's McLaughlin. So we've lapped 25th 3 times. And second time for 13th. And oh my goodness, Chris Madden. I make contact with Chris Madden as I don't really know what happened there. I'll have to watch the replay to see what happened. But smooth operator Bobby Pierce beside me once again. First restart of the day. 45 laps in. Got to do it all over again as we are past the halfway point. And it looks like Brandon Shepard takes over second. We do have a very fast race car here tonight. Have led every lap. Except for, no, I did not lead lap number 1. Led lap 2 and the rest, so. Once you get into that rhythm of going left, sometimes you got to turn right in your left, just like that right there. What a beautiful lap. That was a beautiful turn, I should say. 3 and 4 is definitely seems to be my best corners. Running very consistent lap times. Right now. Into the 12.9s as well. This one seems like it's going to be a little bit slower here. But we are less than 30 laps to go right now. I guess the track is changing a little bit. You can see on the top side, it is definitely getting a little bit slicker. Or maybe it's been like that the whole time, but it does look like it is changing just a little bit. So my previous comments of they need to have the track change a lot during the race might be not as defendable, but still definitely would be cool if we could see a, you know, a extremely slick track at the end of the race. As we are getting back into lap traffic now. We got Ryan Gustin, Brandon Shepard, Bobby Pearson, Chris Madden. Top 5. Looks like Ryan Gustin has a very sizable lead on Brandon Shepard. A little bit of a hiccup there by myself. Trying to get past Cooney here. And Moser took them both over there. Gotta make it down this racetrack as fast as I can. 20 laps to go here at Lernerville in the Firecracker 80. I really wish I could have got that 100 laps in. But here we go. Looking to get past Colton Flinner once again. Brandon Overton as well. Sorry about that. But I heard somebody come into the house here. Very fun to run the late models here at Lernerville. As we are getting around Ferguson. $13.113 there. Obviously our lap times are going to be a little bit lower right now because we are battling through dirty air in the lap traffic. 12.846. I think it's almost my fastest ever. A little bit loose there on my exit, trying to hit the front straightaway. $11 to go. Larson and Shirley in a good battle. You know, it's nice to be able to watch the lap cars battle for position as well. Except for sometimes getting around them. A bit of a pain in the backside. There we are, getting past. Gotta fend off Cody Overton, I believe that's who that is. Got Brandon Overton and Cody Overton, the brothers. So we are 7 laps to go here at Lernerville till we close out this 80-lap main event. What a fun race it is here at Lernerville. I absolutely love this track. I remember when this game was coming out and I seen that Lernerville was going to be in the game. I was super thrilled. I do wish that they would put Sharon Speedway in. That is actually even closer to me than Lernerville. I actually only live about 5 to 10 minutes away from Sharon Speedway. So as we're racing this track right now, thinking about, man, if Sharon Speedway was in the game, I'd be running that track every single day. It's crazy because real life, when they're at Sharon, I can actually hear the cars like I'm right next to the track, so it's awesome. But Dillard getting into the back of Simpson there, and we're just gonna go past him real quick, and we are gonna win the 80 lapper at Lernerville. What a fun race that was. 80 laps. I led every lap but I think one, so that was absolutely awesome. Let's go ahead and let's take a peek. The beautiful 24 car right there getting around the track. Wow. So yeah, there we go. This is when we took over first place right there. I'm gonna bang a screenshot on that. That looks absolutely epic right there. I absolutely love the shot of that car right there. So, there we go. We have won the Firecracker 80 here at Lernerville. That was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please smack that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. I think I might be doing sprint cars at Knoxville next. Till then, guys, have a good one, and goodbye.